Hello everyone, my name is Michael and I am the Director of Product Management at Apprenda. As a foundational software layer and application runtime environment, Apprenda abstracts away the complexities of building and delivering modern software applications, enabling enterprises to turn ideas into innovations faster. In a nutshell, Apprenda allows you to leverage existing skill sets and investments in both your infrastructure as well as your developer tools and provide the catalyst to achieve greater returns and higher productivity. One such investment that your enterprise might have could be application performance monitoring, or APM software in short. In this video, we will explore how APM can enhance one of the Apprenda developer benefits: faster time to market and more efficient development and debugging. Let me walk you through a few simple steps you can take to integrate Apprenda with New Relic, a leader in APM software. New Relic is a software analytics company that makes sense of billions of metrics across millions of apps. They help the people who build modern software understand the stories their data is trying to tell them. New Relic has advanced analytic and user insight capabilities. Through their web portal or mobile apps, a developer can better understand the performances of their app, how end users are interacting with that application, and what is the experience those end users receive throughout the day. I have set up New Relic to monitor web and mobile applications in real time within the Apprenda infrastructure. Let's take a look at how that's being set up. On every platform node that will host applications run by Apprenda, I go ahead and install the New Relic agent with the option to instrument all .NET applications. Over here we're in Add Remove Programs, and let's take a look at the New Relic agent here that's been installed. I'll click here on Change just to show you what I enabled here, and I've enabled both the option to instrument all .NET applications as well as instrumenting the Ias applications. Both of these will enable me to monitor all instrumented applications running on the Apprenda platform. Let's exit here without making any changes and close this out. Now, when the New Relic agent gets installed, one of the things that gets configured in the all users New Relic.NET agent part is the config file that allows me to define all the web application pools that should be monitored by New Relic. I went here and configured a lot of the application pools that are relevant to the Apprenda infrastructure services, like the account, developer, authentication, resources, maintenance. All of those are web apps running in IIS, and I have configured them to be instrumented by New Relic. In addition to that, I have defined a couple of different executables here that should be instrumented. These are non-IIS hosted applications that I would like New Relic to also instrument. Which specific applications this applied to will be instrumented on a per app basis, and I'll show you that in a second. So what happens for non-IIS applications? Let's take, for example, the Developer Portal WCF service. This is running on Victor02 node, a different node under Launchpad, and it has a config file. If I would like to instrument this, since it's a WCF.NET application, I can very easily go to App Settings and define these two properties that will drive the New Relic instrumentation. I get to define the key name for the New Relic app, as well as if I would like agent enabled monitoring. By defining these two simple settings into the config file of the application, I'm essentially telling the New Relic agent to engage this app, instrument it, and when that application is running under the WCF service host.exe, it will be monitored and its data will be published to the New Relic portal. I showed you earlier how WCF service host.exe is part of my monitored executables for instrumentation within New Relic. Now, you can imagine how all this manual work of defining and changing app settings as well as creating config files can be error prone. Using the power of Apprenda and Bootstrap policies, I can use policy to drive the use of APM. Application Bootstrap policies on the Apprenda platform allow platform operators to set specific rules governing the inclusion of specific libraries with the deployment of .NET user interfaces, WCF services, Windows services, and Java web application components. These policies apply comparison logic set by the platform operator to match specific libraries to the desired application components. What you're looking at here is the SOC Operators Application Bootstrap Policies page. Here we have a .NET APM tooling bootstrap policy that we can go ahead and edit and see what's in there. We give it a name, a description. We define that it's an active policy and that it applies to .NET application components both in the sandbox and in the publish stage. The second part of the bootstrap policy instructs Apprenda as to the path where to collect the bootstrap policy executable that defines the work that needs to take place to go and modify the config file of an app running in Apprenda and inject the New Relic APM specific syntax in there so to instrument that .NET application. The last part of the bootstrap policy, like I mentioned earlier, is the policy where we apply the comparison logic set by the platform operator on when should applications be instrumented and this bootstrap policy should run. In this case, we want to instrument applications only when the APM services custom property on the app is set to yes. This is a very simple policy that allows Apprenda to programmatically drive the inclusion of APM settings into the config file of an application. We're back to the SOC Operator portal and we're looking at all the applications within Apprenda. Let's go ahead and look at a very specific application, which is the developer portal, which is where developers go to manage, deploy, create their applications. As you can see, if I'm looking at the version 1 of the developer portal here, within Apprenda I get some basic data for that specific application, like the different tiers that it has, the different workloads, the number of instances per workload, the hosting node, memory, CPU. These are very basic rudimentary data. Let's go ahead and switch over to the New Relic portal and see the type of data that we get for this application. So over here, we're in the New Relic portal and we're looking at all our applications. I can click on the developer app that has been instrumented already through an Apprenda bootstrap policy to make sure that we get data for that into New Relic subscription that I have. You can see here that I get a wide range of data from the transactions, my error rates, recent events, the uptake score that New Relic computes to tell you if your application is healthy or not, as well as the instances of where this developer portal is running. As you can see here, they match the same number of instances that you have in the SOC for basically developer portal is running on Victoria 02 and Victoria 01. I can drill into transactions and look at all the different transactions that are happening for my application. I can see if there's any bottlenecks or any transactions that's taking that's more time consuming than it should be. I can go into my database calls and get insight into how long do different database calls take and if there's any room for optimization of any one of them. I can further drill into availability, scalability, web transactions. You know, there's a slew of reports that New Relic provides to you to get deep insight into your data. One other feature that they have is the ability to get browser calls. So here I can take a look at how are my end users interacting with my application, in this case the developer portal, and what kind of data and experience are they getting. I can look at the AJAX calls, I can look at JavaScript errors, I can look at the different browsers that are being used to interact with my application. I can get the page views, session traces, and so much more data about my application experience and the experience that the end users are getting. With the power of Apprenda benefits, coupled with deep insight and monitoring of your application, it results into a net benefit to your developers, your end users, and their experience. If your enterprise has standardized corporate-wide on a particular APM tool, you can simply enable it for applications with a click of a button in a very simple fashion. That is the power of Apprenda extensibility through bootstrap policies. Thank you.